Hello and welcome back again, Coffee Beans. This is Agricultural Power and Energy Sources. Definition of terms. Part 1. Accessory. A part of mechanism that may be added to a functional powered unit. Not utilizing its mechanical power. For the purpose of enhancing the performance of that unit. Air-fuel ratio. The ratio, by weight or by volume, between air and fuel. Animal unit. A standard measure based on feed requirements. Used to combine various classes of livestock according to size, weight, age, and use. Aspirate. To breath, to draw out gas by suction. To circulate air continuously across or through an object. Biomass. Any organic matter used for energy. Broadly classified into plant matters and animal residues, a term used to describe organic matter which has been grown by photosynthetic conversion of solar energy. Boiler. An enclosed vessel to heat water for the purpose of developing hot water or steam under pressure. Brake horsepower, bhp. The usable power delivered by the engine. Brake mean effective pressure, BMEP. Mean effective pressure acting on the piston which would result in the given brake horsepower output. If there were no losses due to friction, cooling, and exhaustion. Brake temperature. A temperature measuring system shall have plus or minus 2% accuracy. Braking control input force. The sum of all forces applied by the operator to the braking system control. Is measured at point of force application. Braking system. A device used to slow a wind turbine's shaft speed down to safe levels electrically or mechanically. Braking system fluid pressure. A means of measuring braking system fluid pressure with an accuracy of plus or minus 5%. Breakdown torque. Is the maximum value of torque produced by the motor during overload without stalling. Brake thermal efficiency. The ratio of power output in the form of brake horsepower to equivalent power input in the form of heat from fuel. BTU, British Thermal Unit. The amount of heat required to raise the temperature of 1 pound of water. 1 degree Fahrenheit. 1 BTU equals 252 calories. Burner efficiency. Ratio of the heat released by the fuel to the theoretical heat available from the fuel. Calorie. Amount of heat required to raise the temperature of 1 gram of water 1 degree centigrade. Calorific value. The amount of heat produced by burning 1 pound fuel. Center drive. When final drive location is between the intake and discharge. Cetane number. The rating of a diesel fuel's ignition. Characteristic curve. It is a graph that shows interrelations between speed, head discharge, and horsepower of a pump. Compressed natural gas. Natural gas compressed to a high pressure of about 16 to 20 megapascal to store on board in specially designed cylinders. Compression ignition. The ignition of fuel through the heat of compression. Compression ignition engine. Engine in which combustion is achieved by compressing the air until temperature. Pressurized fuel is injected in the combustion chamber. It ignites on contact with high temperature air to generate power. Compression ratio. The ratio between the total volume in the cylinder when the piston is at the bottom dead center and the volume remaining when the piston is at the top dead center. The ratio of the cylinder volume on top of the piston when it is at its lowest position to the volume remaining above the piston when it is at its highest position. The ratio of the absolute pressure after compression to the absolute pressure before compression. Chimney. Vertical surface used with a stove, furnace or fireplace and enclosing a flues to carry away products of combustion. Clearance volume. The volume remaining above the piston when it is at top dead center. Coal. A black or brownish black solid combustible rock formed by the accumulation, decomposition, and compaction of plant materials under a long-acting geological process. Coal-fired power plant. An electricity generating plant which utilizes coal, whether locally produced or imported, as fuel. Collector ring. An assembly of slip rings for transferring electrical energy from a stationary to a rotating member. Collector slope. The collector slope is the angle between the plane of the collector absorber and a horizontal surface. Combined cycle. A modern technology in which one or more combustion turbines are used to initially generate electricity. After which, waste heat recovered from the exhaust gases produces steam in a heat recovery steam generator. The steam is then used in a steam turbine to produce additional electric power. Combustion. Any chemical process accompanied by the emission of light and heat, being typically a vigorous union of substances with oxygen. Combustion. The act or process during burning. Combustion chamber. The chamber in which combustion of fuel mainly occurs. Combustion chamber volume. The volume of the combustion chamber measured in cubic centimeters when the piston is at the top dead center. Combustion efficiency. Ratio of the heat released by the fuel to the theoretical heat available from the fuel. Comb tooth harrow. Implement used for breaking clods after initial plowing. For subsequent operations prior to transplanting and for puddling and leveling. Combustion products. Residue resulting from the combustion of a fuel. Compound motor. A DC motor consisting of a shunt winding and a series winding in addition to armature. Continuous brake power. Power recommended by the manufacturer for satisfactory operation under continuous duty condition within a specified speed range. Continuous cycle motors, the motor that is operated at or near full load for more than 60 minutes at a time. Conventional energy source, source of energy which includes petroleum-based fuels such as kerosene, gasoline, diesel oil and bunker fuel oil. Cycle, series of events occurring one after the other in a definite order and repeats the events after the last one has occurred. Cylinder, the piston chamber of an engine. Cylinder head, the replaceable portion of the engine that seals the cylinder at the top and often contains the valves. And in some cases, it is part of the combustion chamber. Detonation, burning of a portion of the fuel in the combustion chamber at a rate faster than desired. Knocking. Elevation head, energy possessed by a fluid due to its position above some datum. Enclosed mobile tank, all tanks for transporting and spreading agricultural liquids are slurry in which the material is completely contained and covered, as opposed to open tanks which permit rapid escape of the material if the tank is tipped or suddenly halted. Energy, ability to do work. Energy and demand, demand for various forms of energy such as electricity, gasoline, kerosene, LPG, bagasse, coal, etc. Energy conservation, measures that can be taken to reduce energy consumption. This is measured by past energy savings or potential future energy savings in terms of kilowatt-hour or British thermal unit. Energy efficiency, the amount of useful work or product divided by the fuel or energy input. Energy resource, may be classified as either conventional or non-conventional, imported or indigenous. Engine power, the corrected gross, rated, brake power in accordance with a given standard. Firebox, the chamber in which fuel is burned. Firebreak, an existing barrier, or one constructed before a fire occurs, from which all or most flammable materials have been removed. Fire stop, a solid partition of non-combustible wall or ceiling covering material designed to slow the rate of fire spread. Flash point, is the temperature at which the fuel must be heated to give off sufficient vapor to form an inflammable mixture with air. Fluid power, power transmitted and controlled through the use of fluids, either liquids or gases. Under pressure, 4-stroke, piston requires 4 movements to complete one cycle. Fuel, or substance having sufficient carbon or hydrogen for the chemical oxidation to produce. Exothermically, worthwhile quantities of heat. Fuel consumption, specific, fuel, the fuel consumed by an engine to deliver a given amount of energy, kilograms of fuel per kilowatt-hour. Fuel wood, obtained as lops and pops from forest harvesting as dead wood. Fallen branches, twigs, as byproducts are wood-based industries or as surplus of non-commercial wood derived from land clearing to be used as fuel. Heat, a form of energy that is exchanged between a system and its environment or between parts of the system, induced by a temperature difference existing between them, is the energy in transition from one body to another solely because of temperature difference between the systems. Heating value, amount of heat produced by burning 1 pound of fuel. Henry, is the unit of measure of inductance. It is also equal to 1 volt second per ampere. Horsepower, unit of power, 1 horsepower equals 746 watts, a unit of power equivalent to 33,000 foot-pounds of work per minute, English, or 75 kilogram meters per second, metric. Horsepower hour, a unit of energy equivalent to that expended in 1 horsepower applied for 1 hour, equal to approximately 2,545 BTU. Hot gas, or discharge line, delivers the high-pressure, high-temperature vapor from the discharge of the compressor to the condenser. Hydrothermal or hydro resources, natural streams, rivers or lakes that can be harnessed to provide the combination of adequate flow and heat essential for hydropower generation. Hope it helps. Thank you again for listening. Please like, subscribe and comment your suggestion on topics you want to hear. Links of previous topics are stated in the description box below. See you in the next part. Bye. Rar.